This image is titled Early Morning, City Park. It was made on the very first morning of my very first trip to Sturgis. And to be specific, it was made just after sunrise on Saturday, August 11th, 1979. Now for context, I arrived with friends from Boulder, Colorado, where I still live, and I'm sitting right now, just as the sun was setting on the Friday. Now, despite the rally officially being declared a 7-day event for the 35th annual in 1975, for most of us, the rally was still just a weekend-long party. Now, while there's no doubt the rally's epicenter was Main Street back then, the party was definitely in City Park. And coming from Colorado and, like most people riding from the surrounding states, our goal was to get there to the park by Friday night, and that's what we did. Now that night, there was plenty of drinking around campfires. There was drag racing right down through the narrow paved paths that wound through the tents. And there was a craziness till all hours of the morning. Now, it did calm down before it got light, but then I have this very dreamlike, fantastical memory of 3 police cars with sirens on and lights flashing, and they're slowly passing through the campground. I mean, they were truly messing with us. It was probably just their way of getting back at us for all the commotion and what we've been doing for the last 24 hours. So it seemed like I had hardly slept as the sun was coming up. So I went for a little walk to see what the park looked like, because really I hadn't seen much. We got there so late the night before. Now, there was black and white film loaded in my camera. I was shooting for myself, so with film as expensive as it was back then, I was very cautious about how much I shot. So I came across this scene, which was just a little to the left of where I was camped. I made just 2 frames, and they were slightly different, from slightly different angles, and of course, this was the better one, and this is the one I kept that you're seeing. So for me, I like personally how this image conveys both a sense of time and place. And then there's a story. So regarding time, even though black and white is used stylistically today, with this image it still feels like it was taken a long time ago. And then there are the bikes, which are basically panhead and shovelhead choppers, pullback handlebars. You don't see any new bikes in the scene. And then there are the pup tents. You don't see fancy tent setups with entryways or rooms or whatever. I mean, it was very simple. That's the way it was. Now, as for place, it's clearly a campground, but it's not a KOA. There's no delineated campsites. There's no fancy bathroom or a swimming pool. There's just bikes parked next to the tents in a real haphazard fashion. And then, look, there's no cars. There's no trucks or trailers. And those are things you'd probably see today. And this is how everyone arrived. Just they came on their bikes. So what's going on here? Well, in the image, you see a prosthetic leg leaning up against the back of a panhead. Beside the bike, you see the bottom of a boot popping out of a moving blanket. Now, you can assume there's a person with just one leg wrapped in that blanket. I would have guessed that he didn't have a tent and just passed out right there next to his bike. The image evokes for me just simpler times, before everything was so meticulously planned and controlled. There's no big concert going on. People were there to have fun, and they made that fun for themselves. Harley wasn't even enforcing their trademark at that time. So the one Harley-Davidson sticker that you may notice on the prosthetic leg was probably sold by some enterprising person who printed it themselves, and it's the only branding you see in this photo, which is also something that would look different today. So now for the rest of the story. As it turned out, I exhibited this very same photograph during Bike Week in 2001. It was the first time I showed it. And it was in a show I mounted at the Journey Museum in Rapid City. That same year, someone came up to me on Main Street and said, "Do you recognize me?" Now, I'm usually very good with recognizing the faces of people I've photographed before, but I was absolutely drawing a blank. And the same person bent down and lifted the jeans on his left leg, and I responded, "Early morning." And that's how I finally met Ed Rieken. Now, we've met up many times in the years since, and Ed's still out there riding. We met again just a few weeks ago in Tennessee, and I'm still out there shooting. Now, I could have never imagined when I clicked the shutter for this image, nearly 50 years ago, that I could have possibly made a career of motorcycles and photography. I didn't even imagine being a photographer. But that's exactly what happened. And I can now say it's been a really great ride.